Hi guys, I recorded this video to show you how you should go through a typical lesson. So this is an example of what the flow of each lesson will be using your digital chemistry notebook. And hopefully this helps you navigate through each lesson. So basically, once you've set up your lesson, which you should have already done, not lesson, but notebook, um, when you go to the current day, actually, let's do this because this is tomorrow. So let's do it here. So you don't see Thursday yet. You will see it at 6:30 or something a.m. tomorrow. Anyway, what you would do after doing the daily attendance, you would go to your Thursday 9:10 lesson. When you click that, it gives you some directions. Okay, it tells you that you will need to add new slides to your own digital notebook, the one you customized during lesson 0. Click here to watch the video on how to do it, but I'll actually do it in this video as well. So if you forget, you can always click this video here and it will show you. It's going to be less stuff that I'm going to say now. Anyway, then you click the link below to go to the actual lesson. So you click that, and what happens is you get lesson 1 in several slides. I think this one has 8 slides, 8 Google slides that you will have to go through and complete. And basically, each slide builds on one another, but you always start at the lesson slide, right? But what we're going to do first is, here's what you do. What you want to do is click on the first slide like I did here. See how it's highlighted in this orange hue or whatever that is. I hit Shift. I'm going to scroll down and hit on slide 8, and that way all of them are highlighted. So that went away when I clicked again. But again, click on slide 1, scroll down, hold Shift, hit 8. Then go to, Edit, copy it. You don't have edit access, so you got to put it in your own notebook. So here's what you do. You got to access your notebook from your Google Drive. So you're going to go open, right? You saved it, presentations. And the one for this example, I called Jim Shu Chemistry Notebook. There it is. But it's going to be your name, Chemistry Notebook, right? So I'm opening that. And this will have my first 10 slides, which include kind of the table of contents, unit description, and lesson 0. So it's loading here. There it is. It's showing up. So basically, what I'm going to do now is click after slide 10. See how that orange line popped up there? And then I'm going to paste it so you can go edit and then paste those slides that you copied from the other lesson before. I'm not going to link it. I don't think you'll get that option, but don't link anything. So now you have 18 slides. So you have lesson 0 that you already completed. And then when you go to slide 11, this is new. This is what you just copied. Now you can start your lesson, right? And if you look, this lesson will help you better understand what matter is. So you got to know what matter is, right, at the end. When finished, you will be able to distinguish between elements, compounds, and mixtures, and give examples of each. So that's pretty self-explanatory what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to know what those things are and how to compare and contrast them, right? The assignment does not need to be turned in at this time. Periodically, you'll be asked to turn your assignments in through Schoology or share the link to your digital notebook. You already did that. Most of you did it anyway, so you should be good to go. But if you haven't, you have time. So make sure you do it at some point. But anyway, it tells you, make sure you go through all lesson slides, right? Lesson 1 slides and follow the directions carefully. And then you look at the directions, study tips, tech tips in the speaker notes below each slide or in the space next to the slides. So you're going to have stuff here, here, and here that will help you complete each slide, each activity. Anyway, let's move on. So next slide is what is chemistry? Brainstorm it. Right? And then you have the directions over here. Click link to the activity above and follow the directions. When class is done, copy paste the answers onto this slide. Finally, find 5. So once you copy paste them, you're going to do 5 plus images. And it shows you how to do that and drag them onto the slide and adjust the size, right? So when you link to the activity here, right, you just click it. and goes there. Okay. And wow, this is good to see. A bunch of people are already on this. So see what's happening here. But anyway, you have the directions on the bottom here. It says use the sticky notes to describe what chemistry is, what it's associated with, how it's used, or where it's present. So it's kind of a, um, you know, kind of a brainstorming thing. But, people used a bunch of uh, stickies already. If you want to make your own, all you do is copy paste it like we did there. So you can do edit, copy, right? And then edit, paste. You created your own, and then you can put whatever you want, something about chemistry. I'm going to somebody put study of matter, but, if you haven't seen it, you could put that down. Or I could say maybe, somebody said hard. It depends, right? I'm going to say easy. I think chemistry is easy, right? And I'm going to put it there. I don't care that I'm covering someone's stuff up. But this is just a little activity to help you think about chemistry, because you can read through this and then you can copy paste some of those onto your slide, right? So you could just copy, right? And again, it's good to use the Control C instead of just doing edit, copy, edit, paste, because it's faster. If you do highlight a bunch of stuff and hit Control C, then you can come back to your notebook and hit Control V, and it should pop up here, hopefully. Okay, I don't know what I did, but let's do it again. Let's hit Control C. There it is, and come on. Oh, it was just slow. Okay, but it put it there. So it's right there, right? If you want, you can move them onto the slide. You can play around with that. Harder than physical science, molecules, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool, right? But anyway, so that's how that would work, right? And then you could insert images. By inserting images, you just would go, whoops, let's go back there, insert, right, image, and then upload from computer. Nope, search the web, because that's going to be easiest. And then you can type in chemistry, right? And you got a bunch of stuff. If you like this one, you can just throw it on there, right? It's kind of big, but you can make it smaller by, decreasing the size, whatever. I know this looks kind of messy. Who cares, right? Who cares? But maybe put this one in there. Or maybe do different images so you get a different idea. Visuals are a very powerful way to think about anything and to learn anything. So try to find a different visual, right? Not just that, because everybody just says, oh, you're making potions or stuff or whatever. But what about, oh, this? That looks like a structure, right? A molecule structure. So it's like, oh, okay, it's about that kind of stuff too. What else is kind of different there, right? And you can do that sort of thing, right? Um, you know, and yeah, you have a bunch of lab equipment, whatever you want to do. Anyway, you get the point. Move on to the next slide. What is chemistry? Define it. You literally, what you would do here is you can Google chemistry, right? You can Google matter and actually highlight this and put your own paraphrase definition based on what you've researched on Google, right? In Google. So, chemistry is whatever, the study of matter and the changes it undergoes or whatever you found, you should put that down. Same thing with matter. And then 3 types of matter, right? So you get the 3 types, but this, you don't know what the types are. So you can research that. You can literally Google 3 types of matter and just find 1, 2, 3, right? And put them in, right? And then move on. Elements, compounds, mixtures. And again, here, see how I can't see this? It's because I have this window with images open, so I'm going to close that. And now the directions are easier to see. So you can Google what elements, compounds, and mixtures are, and then fill the table with information. So you got to do what are they? So these are basically definitions. So Google them and type it in, right? Elements are, I'm not going to give you the answer because I want you to look for it. You'll remember it if you find it yourself. Then what do they look like? Insert a picture. So again, for that, you can go insert, image, right? Search the web. You can type in element, right? And find some stuff there. And then put that here and here and resize them to fit in the box, right? Give 3 examples. you can literally type in examples of elements, but if you get it right away, you might be able to just use the periodic table and type in 3 examples. Do the same with compounds and mixtures. And is it a pure substance? So for this, I would actually Google what is a pure substance, right? So you get an idea of what I'm talking about here, because these are just yes and no answers, but just because you answer yes or no doesn't mean you understand why, right? So make sure you always go for the deeper understanding, because then if you understand why something is a pure substance or not, then you will actually understand if it is a pure substance or not. If you just try to memorize it, on a test, it might just be a 50-50 because you can just screw it up. But if you understand why, because you know what an element or a compound or a mixture is, and you understand why it is or isn't a pure substance, then you will just never screw it up on a test, right? So always go for deep understanding. Okay, comic here. So basically it tells you directions are down here, 4 to 6 frame comic. I have 5 frames here. You can reduce it to 4. You can drag these, throw them out if you don't want them, whatever, right? Put one extra in if you want it, reduce this one and copy paste it to make a bigger one, right? Whatever you want to do. I actually moved it instead of reducing it. Nope. Let's see. Why am I screwing this up? I'm trying to reduce the size, man. Why? Does that work? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I thought it wasn't going to do. But anyway, and you can put a different one in, however you want to do it. But essentially the idea is maybe draw some pictures and, do insert, image, right? And you can do camera. For that one, you would actually snap a picture of what you drew, and then it will, you can insert it that way, right? It will show up here, and then actually let's do that. That might be kind of fun. So insert image, let's do camera. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to allow it. I'm going to take a picture of myself because I can, right? And I can just do, okay, do that. Insert, right? It's going to be, it's not terribly big, but you could do this, or you could do Bugs Bunny, or you could do anything you want, really. And I can maybe take a bubble and say, whoops, drag the bubble. What just happened? Is it being slow? Here we go. So take a bubble and I can say, see how this is showing up behind it? It's creating it. So what you can do is go arrange and order it and bring it to front. Now it's there. And now I can write it in and I could say, hey man, did you ever wonder about the difference between elements and compounds? Right? Something like that. Sorry if I misspelled anything. Anyway, right? And then you could have maybe a picture of your little brother or something here, and it's like, no, do tell. And then have like a thought bubble saying, boring, or whatever you want. I mean, this is your comic. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? You can do it that way, or you can use some characters from your favorite shows or whatever you want, really. Make drawings and then take pictures of those. You can make if you want, you can draw a comic on a separate sheet like that and then just insert it instead of doing all this. It's really up to you, right? But that's the idea. Okay, let's go next. So once you're done with the comic, you can go, you should by now know what elements, compounds, mixtures are. So it tells you, drag the arrows to identify them, right? So you're kind of looking at this and it's like, okay, what's going on here? I have 2 types of substances, right? I have this one and this one. So you got to pick one of these here and just drag it, right? If you think it's element and it's not an element, but I'm not giving you the answer, you would put that there, but that's wrong. So don't do that. Put the correct one there. And that's all you do, right? You identify. Next, this one, you have stuff here on the right side, on the left side, sorry, that you're supposed to drag here. So plus means combine, arrow means produce. So if we combine those 2 and create a mixture, what should that look like, right? And then if we combine the same two, but now you've made a compound, if you understand the difference between a mixture and a compound, you should be able to come up with a substance that's a compound here. And you literally take stuff and drag it, right? So if you think it's that, and it's not, obviously, because that's wrong, you'd put it here. And you can put several of them if you want, just so it looks, kind of sort of neat. But that's wrong, so I'm going to undo because I don't want Jim Shue to get an F in chem. Anyway, so that's what you do here. Be careful with this one, or with this one, what are the two things that would combine to make this, right? So first think about what this is, and then put the two things that combine to make this what? Is that a compound? Is that a mixture? What is that? And then here, be careful. You have one thing that produces two things. So this thing is actually breaking down into these two substances, right? So you have to put whatever they started out as, right? And it's a really good way to visually understand what these things are, elements, compounds, mixtures. Finally, once you finish that slide, you go, and that's the last thing you will do each day, you go to the exit ticket slide, right? Most interesting about today was, if you thought, matter and elements, compounds, mixtures, or you can be more specific. You could say, most interesting thing about today was that elements and compounds look similar. Because they're different things, but they look similar, right? So, elements. Anyway, or something like that. But anyway, whenever you do something like that, right? Whenever you review like that for yourself, you're just going to remember stuff better, right? So that's why I'm making you do this. It's not meant to annoy you. It's meant to help you. And then questions I have, maybe you encountered like a moment where you were like, I wonder why this is, or like, I don't really understand this. Then you can literally put your questions in here, right? So questions I have are, why are mixtures not substances? Maybe you encountered that. Whoop, my spelling is questionable. Right? So you could ask that. And then if you want to know right away, before I look at this in the future, what you could do is email me or probably message me in Schoology and I could explain. Or actually, that's a really good question for the Q&A discussion board for each unit, right? So anyway, and then last thing you want to do, number 3, go back to slide 3 and link today's activities to the table of contents. So slide 3, that's the slide where you have your table of contents. So lesson 1, chemistry and types of matter, they start on, that lesson starts on, that's lesson 0. Lesson 1, there we go. So slide 11, so what you would do, you can simply type in here, slide 11, right? You highlight it, right? Then go click on this link thing, or you can go insert link. Where's the link? Right here. Either way, it's going to do the same thing. And then you do slides in the presentation. Remember, it was slide 11, and it even gives you the title, which is perfect. You just click that and hit apply. And bam, next time you come in here to study, you can go here and go like, oh, I want to review types of matter. Click that. Bam, it takes you straight there instead of trying to look for it, like that, right? And as you have more slides and more lessons, like once you have like, let's say 8, 9, 10 lessons, it's going to be a quick way to access them, right? And look for particular activities associated with those lessons. So, but there you be. And you have tips on, actually a video on how to link to the table of contents here as well. Anyhow, I know this video was a little lengthy, but hopefully it really helps you figure out what to do. So again, first thing you want to do, right? Always copy paste the actual lesson slides into your own notebook, right? Then go to your lesson title slide, I guess, with the whiteboard, read through what's going on, and then finish complete activities one by one to learn better. And then the last thing is do the exit ticket, right?